Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Dhamma of Peace series number 41. Eight spiritual knowledges and 15 perfect practices of the Buddha. In Pali, Vichacharana Sampanno. There are 9 qualities or attributes of the Buddha, and this is number 3 out of 9. Vichacharana Sampanno. It is worthwhile knowing this particular attribute to dispel doubts, especially nowadays. There are a lot of Buddhists from the Western country. They practice hard. They progress to a certain degree. But some have the view that Buddhists know only the technique how to get rid of the suffering. And all the others that modern day would not scientifically accept, so-called powers and miracle and psychical powers. No, they are just the people who wrote it is portraying it. They are not true. They only believe that Buddha knows only the Four Noble Truths and taught to the people. And these Buddhist attributes, Buddha just sit down and say, these are my attributes. Not that way. Or somebody composed and wrote it up. These are the attributes. Not that way. Each one have their own story. In other words, there is a particular sutta in the scripture describing in detail an incident. And that incident, that sutta, described in details about this particular quality of a Buddha. So I choose to pick up this number 3, Vichacharana Sampanno, and present to the listener. And again, I stress, these are presented with a particular sutta, 1 or 2 or 3 different suttas to describe these in details. Not just sitting and giving lecture. There was a person, a hermit, a monk. Buddha see that one can be liberated, and at that particular moment, Buddha will talk or deliver the sermon that is suitable to that person's mind. That's how these come about. That's what I mean by I picked this topic to dispel doubts in people related to what we are going to talk about. From now on, it is more like an enumeration. Vicca Charana Sampanno. First of all, Vijja. What is Vijja? Vijja. Vijja is each special knowledge or wisdom of the Buddha. And there might be some readers and some will see that there are 3 special knowledge. Only 3. And then in other place, some will see there are 8 special knowledges. Why do they split 3 and 8? Why not all 8? As I said before, the Buddha looked at the minds of the person who he is going to liberate and see this person only need to talk about 3 special knowledge and that person will be liberated. That's why he taught only the first 3. And there come another time, another place, another person. Oh, this person, I have to deliver all 8 special knowledges. Only if I explain that, this person will be liberated or become Arya. That's the reason he writes it. 3 special knowledges or 8 special knowledges. And in here too, I must put the Pali word. Otherwise, it might seem like I'm just rambling in English. Doesn't make much sense. So the first one is called Bobbe Niwasa Nusati Jnana. Bobbe Niwasa Nusati Jnana. What it means is knowledge that can remember or see. See means with the mental eyes. Or see the past existence or the past lives of himself as well as the others. They don't say this a power or miracle or this or that. They use the word knowledge or wisdom. Once you have that knowledge provides a quality to remember past existence or to mentally even see the past existence of himself, in other words, his own past lives, or any person that he chooses to see. The reason is so that he can tame that person, deliver Dhamma, so that they can be liberated from samsara. That is the first knowledge. Second knowledge is called Dipa Sakhu Jnana. Dipa Sakhu Jnana. This is a knowledge like Deva eyes. To see things at faraway places, things that are concealed, or things are of a microscopic nature. Because it is said that the Devas has the power to see things. They might be sitting in a mansion and they will look across the space and then they can see a particular person down in the human realm. That's faraway places. Or even any particular things that are being hidden so that nobody can find it. But they can see it, find it, microscopic. In other words, even to the size of the atomic level or subatomic level, they can see. That's what the Deva eyes mean of the power of the Deva. That is the power, not the knowledge. But Buddha has the knowledge to be able to see like a Deva eye. Number 2. Number 3 is Asavakaya Jnana. Asavakaya Jnana. Jnana means knowledge, wisdom. It's a knowledge to burn up 10 mental defilements that drips and flows into the minds of beings. Kilesa will be always dripping and flowing into the mind of the people. And this knowledge can burn up these 10 mental defilements. And whenever we use these words in a very specific sense, it is the knowledge of the Buddha. Number 3. Number 4 is Vipassana Jnana. Vipassana Jnana. It's a knowledge of impermanent suffering and non-self, or unsubstantiality of mind and body. In other words, anicca, dukkha, anatta of Dhamma Rupa. These anicca, dukkha, anatta, impermanent suffering and non-self of mind and body is not an individual, not a person, not a being, not a soul. That is Vipassana Jnana. That's number 4. So you will see that this Vipassana Jnana doesn't belong only to the Buddha. It belongs to anybody who practice and pass through all the stages of jnana. But regardless, this one is one of the quality. Number 4. But Buddha knows everything in a perfect sense. We have Vipassana Jnana in some way just to get liberated. Buddhas know in and out, upside down, can expand, can contract, can say in one word, can write a thesis about that one word. In such a manner, the Buddhas know perfectly. Number 5. Manomayeti Jnana. Manomayeti Jnana. It's the knowledge to clone oneself. Knowledge to clone oneself specifically. But in general, you can say, accomplish anything by inclining the mind. Knowledge to clone oneself. Some of you might know the Buddha went up to the Deva Ram and delivered Abhidhamma non-stop for 3 months, 3 human months, without having a break or a gap. But Buddha never missed his vinaya. At the time to go for an alms round in a human realm, he came down to the human realm and goes for the alms round and he partakes his meal. But at the same time in the Deva realm, the Buddha is still teaching Abhidhamma. And to do that, what he did was he left a clone, his clone up there, and his real self came down to the human realm. That's an example of what it's meant by cloning oneself. Manomayeti Jnana. Number 6. Adi Vida Jnana. Adi Vida Jnana. Knowledge to manifest miracles. Whatever miracles that Buddhists perform for a certain purpose. Only he doesn't perform to show off or to impress people. He performs these things so that certain people can be humble, subdued, and understand Dhamma and practice Dhamma. It's among all miracles, the toughest and the hardest miracle is to spew out water and fire at the same time from each pores of the body. At the same time, there are lots of people who can perform miracles, but the best they can do is if they are spewing out fire, only fire. Water, only water. If they mix together, then they neutralize each other. So Buddha is the only person who can perform that kind of miracle. One example. Number 7, Dibba Sota Jnana. Dibba Sota Jnana. It is a knowledge like Deva's ear. Again, just like Devas have an ear that can hear sounds from faraway places. They can hear the muffled sound. Let's say we have a hearing problem. We can hear a sound, but they are all muffled, wobble, blah, 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 blah. But even if one is saying like that, they can hear with precision what it's. And also the sound that are so subtle, human ears cannot hear. Those are called Deva's ear. And Buddha has the knowledge to utilize that quality. Number 8, Ceto Priya Jnana. Ceto Priya Jnana. Knowledge to know the minds of others in 16 ways. Okay. In other words, Buddha can reach anybody's mind. But 16 different ways he can read. That will be a big talk by itself, and I don't know them either. So there are 8 special knowledge of the Buddha. And in there, you remember number 3, Asavakya Jnana, knowledge to burn up the mental defilements that drips and flows into the minds of being. Number 3. That number 3 is Lokotara, supra-mundane knowledge. Not mundane, it's supra-mundane. Only at the path and Prussian level, Arhat level. And number 4. What is number 4? Vipassana Jnana. Vipassana Jnana is not supra-mundane. It is a sense sphere knowledge. In other words, the 6th sense, Lokiya, our mundane life. So those are, one is a supra-mundane knowledge, one is a sense sphere knowledge. Number 3 and 4. But the remaining 6 are, in Pali it's called Rupa Vachara Kriya Abhinya Jnana. Knowledge of the 5 material sphere jhanic power. 5 material sphere, in other words, Brahma level, jhanic power of them. 8 of them. One is Lokotara, supramundane. One is Loki, sense sphere. The other 6 are knowledge of the 5 material sphere. 3 different spheres. that covers the 8 special knowledge of the Buddha. As you now know, except for number 3, some class can also have them individually, not collectively, or individual power. Okay. Vijja Charana Sampanno. We know what Vijja is, those 8. Sarana is the second word. Sarana is the 15 perfect practices, or you can call it a training as well. 15 perfect practices. Okay. You practice these 15 to perfection. To perfection. Number 1 is Sila. Everybody knows Sila. Observing the 5 or 8. And Patimokkha Samvara, which means ethical guide for the monks and nuns to restraints and be mindful in daily life. So just that is a Sila by itself, so that they won't transgress their moral code. And also got the unwholesome deeds and speech. That is Sila. I said all the Sila here, 5 are for the everyday normal people, 8, and so on and so forth. But Buddha covers every type of Sila to perfection and observe without fail. Number 2 is Indriya Samvara Sila. Still Sila, but they are different type. Which means observing the mental defilements, not to arise from the 6 sense objects through the 6 sense door with mindfulness, so that no unwholesome karma would accumulate. Indriya Samvara Sila, which means controlling faculties, Sila. What it is whenever 6 sense object come in contact with the 6 sense door, there's a thought arises. But when you are mindful at that contact, then no kilesa can arise. In other words, you will make no bad karma. For the Buddha, not even bad or good karma, both of them. Kriya means functional. Number 2. Number 3 is Bosane Matu Nyuta. Bosane Matu Nyuta. Knowing the proper extent and amount regarding food. What it means is, the monk has to go for alms round. And if the monk is a little bit greedy, they will collect a little bit more food than they could eat or they need. But here is the Buddha's adequate amount to receive food. And that is just on a personal level. But it is they receive these foods based on the volition of the donor. Okay, some people have a great volition, really want to. And if there's a great volition, what they donate, the Buddha would accept appropriate amount. And some people, they don't have great volition, but they want to show off. I can do it, I'm doing it, I'm very generous. And those times, Buddha would not accept all that they are donating, but smaller portion. So when the volition is different, they accept differently, and also just enough so that they can sustain the body for one day, as relating to food. And Buddha did it perfectly every day of his life as a Buddha. The fourth one is Zagriya Nuroga. Zagriya Nuroga. Always being alert with mindfulness in one short sentence. Always alert with mindfulness. So it can be, you can do that, I can do that if we have the power and commitment and effort. But for the Buddha, this is how he did, so that we can try to emulate, if we can. Buddha slept from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. That's how he slept. He slept for 4 hours to recoup the physical energy that has been used up throughout the preceding day. During the remaining 20 hours, he carried out the duties for the benefits that is related to the benefits of others. Just help and help and help, teach and teach and teach. Lay people, recluse, bhikkhu, monks, bhikkhuni, female monks, and so on, regardless of race or color or status. And if there's a little break where there's nobody is asking or needing him at that time, he dwelt in a Niyora Sampati, which means he stayed in the state of cessation of mind and mind-made material. That's how he lives every day without fail. Number 5 is Sada. You know, all Sada, faith and confidence. Buddha has Sada too. He has all the faith and confidence in all the Buddhas that he has before him. And the Dhamma. And the Dhamma is, whichever Buddha it is, they taught the same Dhamma. The Four Noble Truths and Eightfold Noble Path. And Sangha, Ariya. Sangha, one who has renounced all mental defilements. He has the faith in it. And he is the one who knows the law of cause and effect, the main theme of Buddhism, Karma Vipaka. He has full faith and confidence in them. And also, that one, we can have it too. 6, Sati. Sati says, we know in general mindfulness. But in here, this is the way it will explain. Sati is remembering to carry out wholesome Dhamma. Mindful. Mindful of what? Mindful of doing wholesome thing for others all the time. Remembering. Sati, specific, one of the specific meanings called remembering. So for Buddha, and also for all of us, let's remember to do wholesome things for others as much as possible. Number 7 is Hiri, having shame to do unwholesome Dhamma for Buddha, as he has done no unwholesome Dhamma or unwholesome actions, he doesn't need to have shame about it. Uttapa, having fear of doing unwholesome Dhamma or having fear of doing evil. Buddha behaved these hiri and uttapa, shame and fear, to perfection. Viriya, again to viriyas, we just say effort, energy. But this is how one should understood. Viriya is the diligence to carry out wholesome actions, always exerting to do wholesome things. Number 9. Number 10. Bahu Sissa, or also they call it Sutta. Sutta is quite general. Sutta means knowledge through hearing. That is the exact meaning of it. In here called Bahu Sissa. Having excellent general knowledge. Okay? Having excellent general knowledge about faultless, blameless activities. Okay? There's a great knowledge about how to be faultless and how to be blameless in every aspect, from the little toddler to 90, 100 years old age range. He knows their nature in detail. Believers, they know their nature in detail. Non-believers, they know their nature in detail. Only then, once he knows their attitudes and conditions and environments, then you can tackle. So, to do this thing, or another way is skill in understanding the doctrine. Whatever he taught, actually, he experienced directly. So, there's no exception. He perfectly understands whatever he was saying or teaching. 11, Pinya, wisdom. Having the right attitude. This is how it's explained, wisdom here. Having the right attitude, suitability, appropriateness, and wisdom of path and fruition, Megha and Pala. And that is called wisdom. It becomes more and more specific. One must have the right attitude to all things happening, must know the suitability to any condition, must act appropriately under any situation, and the path and wisdom fruition. In other words, all the mental defilements are extinguished and can stay in the state of cessation. That is Pinya. 12. Okay. 12, 13, 14, and 15. It is the jhana. Jhana is the fixed concentration, absorption. Absorption level 1, absorption level 2, absorption level 3, absorption level 4. I won't go into details what each represent. I think in one of the talks I have explained it already. So those are the 15 practice 6. He has it in perfection. He has practiced in perfection. He had lived in perfection. And some belongs to our domain as well. We can practice, we can put effort, we can emulate. These about 515 practices lead straight to Nibbana for Walden's. Walden is Putujana, like you and me. For us, if we practice these 15, it will lead straight to Nibbana, the end of all suffering. And just for another general knowledge, number 5 to 11, Saddha, faith, Sati, mindfulness, Hiri, shame to do unwholesome thing, Uttapa, fear to do unwholesome thing, Viriya, diligent to carry out wholesome actions, having excellent knowledge, general knowledge about faultless and blameless thing, and having the right attitude, suitability and appropriateness, 1 to 11. Those number 5 to 11 are the 7 properties of a virtuous person. 7 properties of a virtuous person. But anyway, my main intention to talk about this subject is, in here you will see things that most of our modern day science people don't believe are described in detail, not by enumeration, by sutta, by sutta, by sutta to back up all these things. It's all in the scriptures. Of course, if you don't believe the whole scripture, it's a made up, then there's nothing more to say. But if you do believe the scripture exists, the sutta exists, makes sense, then this Vijjhana Sampano, all the 8 special knowledges and 15 practices are reality, backed up by the sutta. So that you can dispel doubt about Buddha, because we are practicing what Buddha taught. And if we have doubt in the Buddha, how can we practice what he taught? Keep that logic, rational in mind if you truly want to progress. And practice Satipatthana, Vipassana meditation, and have the 15 practices leading to Nibbana as soon as possible. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much.